Welcome again. So in this video, I will be talking specifically about mappings, and this is just an FAQ session, as I mentioned. So we will pick up few questions on mappings, which will give you an overview. And again, the same thing applies that if you have any question related to mapping, feel free to put it on the YouTube comments. Yeah, let's go ahead. This is the eighth video in FAQ series. 7 videos are available with different type of questions, different topics are available for you to listen, to understand, and of course, happy to answer the questions you have from YouTube comments. So let's go ahead in the series. We will continue this series as long as we can to ensure we get most of the information. And of course, please share your views as well, not just questions, but also your experience in the videos, what you have seen, what you how it works, so that also I will also learn something from you. Thank you. Let's go ahead. So first question, what are mappings? So mapping is basically to enable posting in CFIN or S4HANA, you need to have some data objects mapped. For example, in source system, you post a vendor invoice. Now, that vendor invoice needs to be replicated to CFIN, so or S4HANA. So whenever I say CFIN, it's S4HANA system. So when that vendor invoice needs to get replicated, it means it will be reposted. So now your vendor needs to be mapped to vendor, your GL account needs to be mapped with GL account, your company code needs to be mapped to company code, or any other field which are relevant in the story. Yes, those needs to be mapped. So those, unless system find those mappings, it will throw the error and it will put the error document in the AIF error during replication phase. So that's why it is important that mappings are managed. So it is one of the key area in the central finance. One of the key area, key challenge, and the key learning experience from any CFIN project. So mappings are really troublesome thing, not that easy to manage. Mapping actions. So as I mentioned, there are 4 mapping actions. Keep data, mapping obligatory, clear data, and map if possible. For example, if you want to just keep the data from the source, you can put keep data. If you want to have a mandatory mapping, that vendor needs to be mapped to vendor, company code needs to be mapped to company code, put it mapping obligatory, then system will mandatorily look for mapping. And if not, it will fail the document. Clear data means any data coming from source will be cleared in the central finance system. So you cannot do it for key field, for example, vendor number, or for example, GL account, or for example, company code. But yes, you can do it for like payment terms, because that's something you can determine it again in central finance. Map if possible. This is the very least used option, where it says, okay, if you find it mapping, it is fine. If not, then keep the data, for example. So yes, there are options. So and this is done by system level by entry. So in the screenshot you can see we have a company code, bookers, BUKRS the field, and then for that company code you can put against the system. For this particular system, it is mapping obligatory. For again another system, it can be different option. So it is by field, by mapping, by system, by the field level. What is mapping cardinality? So this is a very interesting question which people want to understand. And mapping cardinality is, either you can map the data n is to 1, or you can map the data 1 is to 1. It means, for example, you have 100 vendors in source system, you can map to all them into one vendor. So 100 vendors in source to one vendor in CFIN. So that's n is to 1. Or you can map 1 is to 1. You can have one vendor, each vendor map to each vendor. So it will be like 100 vendors in source map to 100 vendor in CFIN. But you cannot map 1 is to n. You cannot say one vendor in source will be mapped to 5 vendors in CFIN. So that's not allowed. So the cardinality only option available is either you do n is to 1 and or you do 1 is to 1. Decision of particular field you want to do 1 is to 1 or 1 is to 1 depends on how your design and how your feature looks like. For example, in case of vendors, if you want to activate central payments, yes, you need to have 1 is to 1. If the purpose is just to dump the data in the CFIN system, then you can use n is to 1. How mappings are managed? So initially there was no option, but in first release of CFIN, and I built a custom tool. But now SAP has given the standard transaction fins underscore CFIN underscore map underscore manage. In that option, you have select the mapping entity. You have a list of all the fields like company code, GL account, cost element, vendor, customer. Several fields are there, and then you select your source system. It can be AS, it can be B, and then you have user action. You can select the system, you can select the field, for example, company code, system A, display mapping. It will display the mapping of company codes. Company code, system A, generate template. It will download the CSV file through which you can fill your data, and you can use next action, upload mappings. So you can put the mappings in your own in the template, and you can simply upload. Then you have download. Of course, anything is mapped in the system, you can simply download it in CSV format. And then if you want to delete, you can just upload the template and you select the delete action. So what it will do is whatever you fill in the template, it will delete those values. So if you have 100 values available in system, you put 20 in the file and you say delete, it will delete those 20. So you have to be very careful when you delete this option. And at the bottom you say file name, you select the right file name, it's a CSV separator, and you just upload. And then when you click on upload mappings and yeah, delete, it also gives you activate the option of test run, so you can see in the test run mode what it is going to upload and what it is going to delete, along with some errors if there are. So that's a standard transaction code available in the standard central finance. So that's all I have for mappings. Of course, I will talk more and I will show you how these mappings, including uploads and all things, when I talk specifically more detail about in the video related to mapping configurations, of course, including. So if you see now, we have covered error handling FAQs, we have covered central payment FAQs, we have covered now mapping FAQs, and I will come up with more topics here listed along with some more topics which I am receiving from the people on the through communication channels. I will add more topics and I will keep on continuing this FAQ series. Any questions? I'm most welcome from my side, and any suggestions, most welcome from my side. This should be a very interactive one. Feel free to give your feedback, feel free to put questions, and of course, share your experience as well with me. Happy to listen from you how you worked in CFIN project, whatever the challenges, how you manage something, any specific scenario you manage. So I will also learn from your experience. And again, one last comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel, and of course share with your peers and colleagues and your friends. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Thanks.